been hoping it'll cave and swallow me whole. Wonder why my mind keeps on spinning.
Hi guys, Tiffany Fontenot, your friendly.
Is the aforementioned journalist Ryan.
False start, reverse speech analyst here. We're going to try that again. I think this one is important, so I'm just posting it in hopes that you guys will share it, and then I want to look at our Telegram channel and invite all of you to sign up on our Telegram channel. So it is t.me/our still small voice. OUR, our still small voice.
Is the aforementioned journalist Ryan Girdusky, who spoke with us on this show nearly 3 weeks ago about John Weaver and the Lincoln Project. He's also the author of the book, They're Not Listening. Ryan, you say you have proof that the Lincoln Project members are lying when they said they just learned recently of Weaver's depravity. Tell us.
Right. Well, so I started this. I got the emails from young men starting in late May. I was working with another writer on this project for months, trying to get young men to go on the record. During that time frame, I got calls from several friends, very plugged into the Washington D.C. Circuit, that several members of the Lincoln Project had heard I was asking questions about John Weaver, were very involved in trying to see where I was on the investigation. Molly Jones-Fast, who was an advisor to the Lincoln Project, called several people asking questions about my project. Several days after that is when John Weaver had his heart attack. One young man publicly expressed that he spoke to at least 3 members of the Lincoln Project, including Mike Madrid, one of the co-founding members, saying that he was being sexually targeted by John Weaver. And recently I heard that a writer who I cannot mention his name, but he is a very, very well-known conservative writer who does not like Donald Trump and publicly does not like Donald Trump. He's a household name, was asked to join the Lincoln Project, and he said, I can't because of John Weaver's reputation. This was the biggest open secret in Washington, D.C. Everyone knew, except apparently the people who worked at the Lincoln Project.
Would anyone else get away with this, Ryan? I mean, saying, I didn't even know him, or I hardly knew him. Who would get away with saying that? Who?
That Lincoln Project's doing right now. They're sitting there saying you have to be held accountable to Trump staffers about things that you may have no control over while you were there. Obviously, George Conway was not involved in the text messages and DMs to young men as young as 14 years old that John Weaver was committing. However, the Lincoln Project was used for 2 purposes: a grift to make money, and as a predatory or a grooming organization for John Weaver to get young men into bed. I mean, what you've seen in the media is nothing compared to what the messages I have are. And I'm not out to embarrass somebody, but they are descriptive, they are disgusting, and people are saying the 21 men in the New York Times. I had 30 young men. Another writer had over 50. It's probably over 100 young men in a 5-year period. This wasn't like he was doing it to one person, 2 person. Bill Cosby would blush at the actions of John Weaver. And it was the biggest open secret in Washington, D.C. Liberals I spoke to about the project I was working on knew about John Weaver.
Well, Ryan, all these liberals claim that they care about harassment in the workplace. They've devoted, an inordinate amount of time to fighting harassment in the workplace, which is great, which is fine. But the Lincoln Project raised the lion's share of its money from deep-pocketed liberals, right? Billionaire donors like Walmart heiress Christy Walton, Stephen Mandel, big hedge funder, Big Oil, Gordon Getty, David Geffen, Sequoia Partner Capital, Michael Moritz, Jonathan Nelson from Providence Equity Partners. These are big money people. Are they going to demand their money back? Are they going to demand the salary of John Weaver back?
Oh, probably not. And the media ran cover for John Weaver and for the Lincoln Project. Remember, it was 3 weeks ago that I was on your show, and you had me on almost the day after that I wrote the first story. They ran cover from Axios to a story that was a puff piece, basically saying John Weaver said, I'm gay, I struggle with it, and giving the Kevin Spacey excuse, and it was deemed acceptable because John Weaver, who hates the president, was sitting there and doing it. most gay men aren't predators. It's not acceptable. This was a deliberate attempt to sit there and cover for somebody because they hated the right person and had the right politics. And at this point, you know, if it was not right for anybody to do sexual harassment, if it wasn't right for Bill Cosby, for Weinstein, for anybody, then it's not right for John Weaver. And they need to be held accountable, and they certainly need to be asked questions by their donors of what did you know and when did you know it? Because I can tell you right now, many members of the Lincoln Project knew. It was blatant, it was open. He was going after their own interns.
Yeah, fruit of the poisonous tree. It's all the fruit of the poisonous tree. And to also, to lean as he did in his explanation that, well, I'm closeted, and kind of implying that that's why he did what he did was also insulting.
Right, and he said it was consensual. How is messaging a 14-year-old when you're 57 consensual?
Yeah, well, it's obviously not. Ryan, you were courageous to break this story. I'm glad we had you on first, and New York Times, 3 weeks later. Ryan, stay on it. Thank you so much.
Okay, praying for all the safety of everyone that's sticking their necks out, because this behavior that we're seeing is made ravenous by, I mean, there may be a certain amount of this naturally, but I'm saying this is being ramped up unnaturally, and it is coming through this cult system, this network that I have been covering, and I have been showing you their reversals, you know, their belief system, and I'm going to be doing another one. I have a client right now that I have to work on, but stuff that is coming next is, you know, these people are talking about a scum that they make deals with, and that they pay homage to, and it would be like the I guess description of Satan in the Bible, but this is like a real live cult network. You know, and it is, you know, you can't just withdraw from it because they will kill you. I mean, it's a satanic cult network. And so reversals that I found, Evelyn Rothschild talks about and mentions this scum, and this is coming through Israel. Okay, that's where this is global, but the hub is in Israel, and that's just where it's located. They also are suppressing Jews. So this is coming quite a bit from the Ashkenazi branch, you know. And is it all of them? No, you know, clearly it's not. But that's a big portion of it. It's coming through quite a bit in the Chabad mafia, Jewish mafia, and I mean, when we, you know, the reverse speech is telling you all about it. So I'm just saying I'm going to be covering that more. I've got some of it up already, but like Evelyn Rothschild talks about, the reason for politics in the first place is to gather people together for that scum and to bring the people to the scum. Now that is ridiculous. So if that's what politics is about, then we got to find out to, you know, who all is involved in this and who all believes that, because that's tainting not only our politics, but our institutions worldwide have been corrupted by this. Our military has been tarnished by it. It's very secretive. I've even seen, you know, who is teaching our military to do the Illuminati sign when they're singing. What was it? It was a song about Elijah. I just, you know, I'm like, who, you know, we don't send our daughters and sons into the military to be indoctrinated into a disgusting parasite cult. And there have been, you know, one of the biggest things that I ever posted on Twitter that was shared the most was when I threw a hissy fit about Satanists being able to practice in a study group in the military. You know, we are not doing that. I get that those forces exist, but this is ridiculous. And they literally want to swap everybody and force everybody into their system. That is what all of this oppression is about. It's transhumanism. Okay? So if you haven't caught up to the fact that, Yes, Satanism is bad. Sorry, it's bad. We're not going to sugarcoat it anymore. Yes, transhumanism is bad. It takes you farther away from God and farther away from being human. Okay, now I'm not a Bible thumper, but I'm telling you that is coming through in reverse speech too from those people who sell it. Okay, so we're just not going to play those games anymore. I'm not, we're not going to be tolerant of that stuff. Okay, we're done being tolerant of disgusting satanic killers. Okay, now some people claim there are different versions of Satanism. Okay, well, what I'm saying to you is Michael Aquino's reverse speech is telling him that his whatever brand he was offering up to everybody, and he was in the military, in the army, and was an army intelligence officer. Okay, his own reverse speech was saying it's bullshit. He's saying in his forward speech, I was like, well, his reverse speech ought to match that if it's true. And I found right where he was talking positively about Satanism. And the reversal there, he said it's opposite, mired opposite. And he went on to say that it was embedded into our military, this Satanism. Well, it can just get right back on out. We're done. I don't feel comfortable sending family members into that military with all that disgustingness in there, and I want it cleaned out. I'm just telling y'all my feelings on this. Okay, y'all can feel however you want, but that's how I feel. I do not like it at all. Okay. Next, let me get on my other soapbox. Okay, so you all heard what he said about this man, John Weaver. And now let's listen to John Weaver, this pedophile, who is at the very least being influenced by this cult if he's not actually in it. They're building a giant internet for humans, like a big hive-minded Borg thing, and they're trying to connect people to it wirelessly, just like your computer hooks wirelessly to your router. Okay, and I've shown y'all the information for that in the past. You can go look it up on the channel. So anyway, here he is trying to shake his finger at everybody else for being immoral and what he considers to be bad. The thing is that it is reversed. These people actually believe bad is good and good is bad, and we're just not gonna play that game.
There are those who say the president is a descendant of Sarah Palin, who your John McCain selected as his running mate. They point to that decision as sort of the beginning of the change in the Republican Party.
Well, look, the party was well on its track to being what it is before John selected Governor Palin, but that did put it on a fast track. There's no doubt about it. It was a reality TV show choice. It was a mistake. I said so at the time. I wasn't with the campaign at that moment. But it was a mistake, and we're paying some of the price for that, for sure.
When you say that the Republican Party, was on this track before Sarah Palin, where do you go back to?
Well, I go back to the rise of the so-called Freedom Caucus, which is really misnamed. Their opposition to comprehensive immigration reform, which we passed in the Senate twice, McCain, Kennedy, and had we passed it then and Bush signed it or Obama would have signed a version, we would be well past some of those issues today. For example, the party constantly lied about Obamacare. They constantly claimed they cared about the national debt, and meanwhile the national debt continued to go up while the Republicans were in power. And it made Republicans even more cynical, Republican voters more cynical, so that when Trump arrived, they were desperate for someone to wreck the system.
Okay, and what I'm telling you is that these guys want to distract you with left and right. It is on both sides. Okay, just consider if you were a satanic shithead and you wanted to get the whole system? Would you only buy people or entrap people on one side of the chessboard, or would you do it for both? And would you cut out all of the rest of the parties that were competing in the first place so that you just have two? And would you do it just in the United States, or would you do it globally? I mean, this is a business expansion. It's like a business. And their business model is Satanism. They literally spread misery. It is a cult, a money from suffering cult. And I just keep saying, I just feel like I'm repeating myself over and over again. Okay, so here we are. Let me play this for you again. I mean, I just have a ton of these, guys. So she's sitting here, Orb mass sealed it. That's programming mass sealed their cult into our entire planet. That's how they seal it in. And then Kess absorbs it. The energy, the spiritual energy, the energy of spirit, energy is absorbed. See marks? That's damage. See all the damage we're doing? Love it. Our syndicate. She loves their syndicate, their death syndicate. Nestle round in the tomb. They just love it. Just a mutual admiration death society. And then here's that.
The most undeniable thing that can be said about Tom Hanks is both deceptively simple and yet overwhelmingly true. He just makes the world a better place.
Yeah. Okay, so, you know, it is a big problem, guys. So I'm just trying to call some attention to that. And I'm going to have more on the scum. I have found references to that in Evelyn de Rothschild's speech. He thinks that's what politics, apparently in his reverse speech, it indicates that he thinks politics is to bring people to that scum. And then let's see, Celine Dion mentions the scum making a deal with it. Her husband apparently made a deal with it, and she was referring to that in her reverse speech. And her reverse speech in that set talked about her being raised in the Hivers trap, or Hivite. Okay, so this has been around a long time. There's no telling, you know, it may have been around. It seems to be the same old age-old debate of, you know, when Adam and Eve left the garden. That may have been when they started dabbling, when humanity started dabbling in transhumanism and came up with AI in the first place, and God threw it out of heaven. These may be metaphorical descriptions of that happening, you know, of whatever actually happened. I know everybody claims to know what happened because y'all were all there, right? In this life. But I'm just saying, in our reverse speech, what I've gathered so far is this is that same old debate, that same old thing. But I'm telling you now, our reverse speech is rejecting all of that. It is waving us off of it and moving us. It says, I have never seen it go off of balance. It talks about surfing and flowing. Okay, so if you, and when you get out of your balance, that means you have fallen too far to one side or the other. Okay, so if you're on a surfboard, you have to keep your balance so that you don't fall into the drink on the left or the right. Okay, so all of this other stuff is just noise. You know, the important stuff is humanity and God and where we come from and where we're going back to. And we want to have a good time while we're here. But everybody, you know, gets indoctrinated into this silliness, and all of it seems to spring from transhumanism. It all does. So, I mean, that seems to be the grand deception. And we're in the, I mean, they've planned a big finale for us. They've got lots of plans for humanity. You know, you've got all of these just insane nutballs running around who have been completely indoctrinated to believe that walking farther away from humanity is where we need to be, and that's scientifically proven. Well, I mean, you can prove whatever you want with science, especially if you have enough money to pay people who are dishonest that are good salespeople. You know, so let's just get real here. Anyway, I'm going to make I've got to do my client, and then I'll start working on, I'd like to do one on Anderson Cooper, because he's problematic also, and he's taking part in this. Look who he is attacking. And when you're attacking, you're pointing at somebody and three fingers are pointing back at you normally. So in that case, what is he deflecting your attention away from? Because there's reverse speech that indicates that Anderson Cooper, it was directly involved. It indicated he was directly involved in those CNN journalists, quote unquote journalists, who were live on camera that were glitching and having those, they look to have been targeted on camera live. And I bet you whoever that was just thought that was hilarious. Okay, it is not. And so, because one of them said his name in her reverse speech and was talking about an evil terrorist when she said it. Okay, so I've got information on that. I mean, it's just absolutely run amok, and all of these people are so misguided. It's time to step in, including those factions of our military who have lost their way, guys. You know, ETs is that's another branch of another deception. I mean, they've gone across the curriculum and Satanism to bring you all this stuff, and spent just tons of time and resources, and it really is just a big giant parasite club. A satanic parasite club is what it is. So these people have to be dealt with directly, because they will not stop. It is an addiction. It looks to have been it's coming out of this, whatever they're calling the scum. It looks like maybe possibly even an ancient creation of nastiness that was an AI, and that they may have like even figured out how to do interchangeably into a body or something. I don't know. It's technology, and may have biomass, and may even be able to be separated from it. But they're calling that a scum, and it's coming through Israel, and this Kabbalah, you know, that stuff. The Jewish mysticism is really where it's heavy laid in. The Chabad mafia, all of that. I mean, it is bad, and it's overgrown, and it's disgusting, and they are hurting humanity, and they're about to drive it over a cliff. I mean, and if they want to go with that nutball cult where they really say, if they were totally left alone to do what they want, all that you would have left down here are dead, self-replicating robots. Okay, this is a nutball cult, and they need rounded up. You know, no one said they were not smart. No one said they were not able to. They're very good at persuasion, but they're misguided, and they have something wrong with them. So, you know, that's the psychopath. They've got that chip missing. There's something wrong. But even their reverse speech is telling them. I mean, we've had in that conversation with Barack Obama and Anthony Bourdain, you know, it addresses it directly. Those guys are speaking in coded speech, and because the reverse speech responds to it, and our reverse speech comments on our forward speech. Okay, so when it comments on pedophilia in the reverse speech, and you claim to be talking about hot dogs, just give us a break here. you're not talking about hot dogs. That's not what you're talking about. I mean, some people, when they talk about hot dogs, they're actually talking about hot dogs, but they were not. The reverse speech came back and it said that pedophilia is not okay. Okay, so we're just going to put that to rest right now where reverse speech is concerned. I mean, to me, it's just really not rocket science. So it gets frustrating when I have to sit and, go over it and over it and over it. They're just, do not be afraid to be intolerant to this, because it is a direct hostile threat to humanity itself. Okay, so everybody has to look at what their gifts and talents are and how we are connected to each other and look at the big truth map unrolling, and in order to find out where we best fit in order to get it shut down. Okay, so I'm not advocating violence. I'm saying this can be shut down if everybody rolls up their sleeves and figures out your God-given talents and our connections to each other. There are billions of us, okay? Let's get it shut down. Okay, I just want to give a little preview before we move on of our Telegram channel. And again, it is t.me/our still small voice, OUR, still small voice. And show you what we've been looking at in there and talking about. I just added the chat on so that you can comment now, because we were able to find a moderator to keep the porn out. They have shills that are going on Telegram. They're going in there and they're dropping porn and they're inciting people. And then what they do is they go and tell the media, look what they're doing in that channel. And they point to what they have themselves posted. It is unreal. So, they wanted to try to get Telegram shut down. So I'm just telling you that's how they got 8chan shut down also. People really have to become hip to this, because, it's not okay for them to be able to shut things down in that way. So I would love for everybody to learn that trick and start going, we know what you're doing. No, we're not shutting it down. Don't give them support for that kind of crap. Okay, so let's see, Dr. Michael Ryan, his Dark Winter-like reverse speech. I went over that. I posted that in there, and some stuff on targeting. And then I found in Sophia the Robot information. Let's see, there was a reporter interviewing David Hansen of Hansen Robotics, who created Sophia, about her, and they are about to start getting ready to mass produce her in a miniature one, and it's just not, none of that is good, guys. It's transhumanism, and it is disgustingly evil, the stuff that's coming out of that reverse speech. Like, the agenda that's behind it is for depopulation and Agenda 2030. So if y'all would go have a look on all the stuff that I have on her, you'll find out. I mean, they literally want to kill off humanity and bring in humans 2.0. Neuro-enslaved humans 2.0. These people are just they're just nutty as a fruitcake. Okay, so, but I found, just like Ghislaine Maxwell, and the American pronunciation of that she pronounces it, or the way that they pronounce it is Ghislaine, but in French they pronounce it Ghislaine. So I put the pronunciation in here, and the pronunciation in here is what I just found in a reversal from the reporter, that brings Ghislaine into and connects it with Sophia the Robot in some way. So they're going to be connected in some way. Anyway, you can listen to that reversal. I've got it on here, and you can read more about it if you'd like to join our Telegram. Let's see, and I've got some more information there about all of that. And then, because I do voice messages in there. You can do voice messages in Telegram, so I can just drop, when I don't have time to make a video or do a whole presentation on our website, I can just throw it in Telegram right quick and just leave y'all a voice message. And so it's really good to go, and if you have Telegram, or consider putting it on your phone and joining it. Let's see. That's more targeting stuff. My reverse speech is indicating they're hitting my thalamus and trying to break it.
But I think the best way to learn them is to separate them based upon what kind of information they're acting as a relay station for. Because that's the basic thing. If you guys don't remember anything out of this video, I want you to take away that the thalamus is a relay station. Basic function is it's a relay station for 3 types of information. 1, limbic system information. 2, sensory information. 3, motor information. It's taking that information and sending it to the cerebral cortex.
And I just want to also indicate here, because my reverse speech also says that my memory, that this mob has been sent and that they are trying to shred my memory also. So so I just wanted to let you guys know that the thalamus also has to do with memory. So this says previous research suggests that the neural signals underlying working memory reside in the cortex, but all 3 groups found that the thalamus, a subcortical system, plays an important role in working memory. It's not just a receiver of the signal, it's an essential partner with the cortex. So knowing all of those things that the brain does that I just showed you there, according to the thalamus, it's no mystery that why I have become so dizzy and just nearly throw up every time I go around a corner. My balance used to be my physical balance used to be excellent. I mean, I'm the one who goes, I'm that friend you have that goes and rides all the roller coasters and rides that thing where you stick to the wall. Okay, well, my whole life feels like that now from the damage that has been done from this targeting. Okay, this Nazi group that's targeting people and making money on them through this disgusting cult system. So from this money from suffering cult who is exploiting people for targeting, and this is coming from the defense industry, but it's, like I said, our military has this faction in there, and it's just, and then some people just follow along with it. But it's coming from this cult through the defense industry and through law enforcement. So you've got big factions of it in the FBI and in DOD. And so this is somewhat it's definitely a planetary civil war of humans against transhumanists who have been indoctrinated into this nutball cult. So anyway, that's where a lot of the Nazi experimentation comes from, and then they profit from it. That's just part of this cult, scamming cult, how they roll. So let me play this for you. The reversal that I found was about my thalamus. And I was talking about my peer block in the American Chemical Society that keeps hitting my computer from Portland, Oregon, next to I think it's the Rosalind Theater, called the Roseland or Rosalind Theater. And the reversal was, and he calls it, I'll break thalamus. And he calls it, I'll break thalamus. That came from, so my peer block is blocking. And I actually did a video on that in here that you guys can go and watch. Right here, that's about 8 minutes, where I show you all the different computers that are trying to come in and grab information and hit my computer just in one day. And so one of those was this American Chemical Society, which also says on its website that it is connected to our Congress. And our Congress knows this is going on too. By the way. Okay, so the reversal is, and he calls it, I'll break thalamus. So my peer block is blocking the American Chemical Society. So that was interesting to me because I'm displaying all of that, because I looked up the thalamus and I'm like, yeah, they're breaking down my balance, motory, sensory, and memory. Is what I've noticed over time. And then this one shows the torture that's happening from this cult. And they use torture. I also have indications that they have MK'd me. But you guys need to understand, they are trying to MK the entire planet through this system. They want to roll it out to everybody. Okay, so here's that one. And again, these guys, what they do, and a lot of people who call themselves light workers, truthers, they're trying to sell you a grift about ascension. Well, ascension, yeah, you when they kill you, they make money off of you, and yeah, you ascend. Okay, so they tell you that these symptoms that are being caused when they're targeting you, they tell you they're ascension symptoms. So your bed shaking from their vibrational weapons. That guys, when you put on a Fitbit, it reads all kinds of sensory. It tells you what your body's doing, and you can get a scale that tells you a ton of information. Well, that kind of stuff is what these guys are reading, and they're reading it wirelessly through these beaming weapons that also torture the crap out of you and can kill you. They can cause stroke and heart attack with these things. So anyway, so that is what we're looking at here. And so they were trying to sell that off as contact with ETs, which of course ETs are another part of their game for the same game. This is all one thing. It's all transhumanism. Okay, they want to feed off of you, and they want you farther away from God, and buying into their bullshit so that they have as little resistance from you as possible. Okay, so don't let him hurt me. When I'm asking about the ETs, they told me they were, right? In that PSYOP. And there are a lot of people they're pulling that scam on. All you know is that strange things are happening that you can't explain, and then they offer you an explanation. Oh, it's ETs. And those symptoms you're having, those are ascension symptoms. No, they're sucking the life out of you with those weapons, those bioweapons, those radiation EMF bioweapons, and all the stuff that they come in. I mean, they have teams that gas you and come in and implant you, and they have doctors that implant you, and they hit you so hard so that you end up having to go to the doctor, and they drive you to a particular doctor to get implanted from that doctor. And guys, they use mob tactics. They have killed lawyers, they have killed doctors who have bumped up against them, but I'm hoping there's enough resistance now that people feel safe enough to stand up. And there are people protecting other people in secret so that they're not known about, because they don't want to get bumped off. I mean, this has been absolutely, utterly ridiculous. And it's worldwide, and I'll put the documentation below that I have collected on all this so that you can spread these links. Okay, this is actually happening, and they are trying to depopulate, and they're using all these tactics and strong arm tactics and lies, and from all the ridiculous stuff that these people have done connected to that ridiculous cult. Okay, and then this one, let's listen to this one. Oh, this is the one where they say send the mob. So the mob was sent and they're hitting my memory, likely connected to the thalamus that was in my other reverse speech.
Trying to live here is involved in this.
In the American Chemical Society in Portland, Oregon, I've got just a big giant list, because I'm a targeted individual, of people that are trying to steal what appears to be like body data that they are collecting in some way from like either a phone, or there are tons of different ways you can collect it, especially, you know, where antennas are concerned, and especially when they have made your body into a big giant antenna because of the stuff they've done to it. That you're, you know, I mean, they have literal teams that come and gas you and break into your house and will, you know, shoot you with all kinds of stuff. They've got stuff falling out of the sky, chemtrail planes, and that's another thing, you know, that people need to wake up on. That's just ridiculous that they've bought it this long. I'm like, how gullible do you have to be to believe that these people are telling you the truth about that stuff? Gullibility kills. So that's about targeting. Let's see, and then here's some more about right here about the odds going down for the completion of that nutball cult's sacrificial feast. They're worried about that, so we like that. We want them to not be able to kill anybody else, but they are like, I mean, the excuses about how they're killing all these people over this COVID stuff. I mean, these people are literally giddy about killing other people and sacrificing other people. I mean, it's almost like a tribe getting a scalp. It's bad, you know, and I guess they get rewarded for that. I mean, it's literally a psychopath cult, parasite cult. And then here, Iran threatens to take out Tel Aviv if Israel follows through with new military plans. Okay, well, I reported on that over 23. Let's see, when did I? What was the date on? Whatever the date is on this video right here. That's when I reported this coming up in our. There's an Air Force AI testing and PSYOP coming up. And remember, just because it's a testing and PSYOP does not mean people aren't going to get hurt and killed, because you've got this nutball death cult involved in it, and it's a bonus to them if they can, you know, hurt and kill people. It's just unreal. And I'll show you in just one second something else that indicates that's true. Because our Treasury Department in 2017 put out a bulletin for them. I'll show it to you and show you the rules that they follow. Okay, so then Zuckerberg getting questioned here by the Republican senator from Missouri. Is it from Missouri? And so I got a reversal from him that was very interesting, and brought up a Melissa. I took a guess on who that was. There was another Melissa that just came up in the news too that it might be. So that's in there. More information on all of that. And then I put a reversal. See, guys, I mean, reverse speech is really good for pointing out where the problems are, but it also is very inspiring. This is from a client, and she gave me permission to post her reversal publicly. So I'm going to play it. It says, "Love you."
Which was that was a totally amazing experience. I love you. I love you. I love you.
I mean, just precious.
So guys,
Oops. Sorry, it just goes to the next one. Okay, let's see. So there's a lot of good stuff in here that I post. Here's more about that. The owl said, "We fear the odds are for you not feeding Ender the whole feast, the non-human feast, for the scum that Evelyn de Rothschild talks about in his reverse speech." So there's a lot of good stuff in here. Oh, here's one from Huma Abedin. Oh, that's good to cover right now because here it is right here. Here's a link to the U.S. Treasury Bulletin targeting the thieves-in-law cult. And the thieves-in-law, it tells you, I mean, this is one of the cults they're targeting. You know, they targeted NXIVM. Well, here's the thieves-in-law cult. It is a transnational criminal group. And it's likely going to really be connected also to the one that the Jewish mafia, you know, these Soviet Jews. And so let me find, where is that? It tells you in here, yeah, it tells you that they're a money from suffering cult because they are only allowed to make money from the suffering of others. Okay, and right here we have where it talks about the rules for this thieves-in-law cult that the U.S. Treasury is targeting, and it says they have to demonstrate, they get crowned, and they have to demonstrate an ideal criminal biography and take an oath to uphold a code that includes living exclusively off their criminal profits and supporting other thieves-in-law. Okay, that is a money from suffering cult, guys. They literally spread misery. Now, how many of these celebrities do you see obsessing about crowns? Crowns, crowns, crowns. You know, that you wear on your head, like the monarchy. They crown each other. So, or they get crowned. It's a mafia, it's a cult mafia, you know. Okay, and then I'll play you another reversal. This is Huma Abedin. So it was interesting because we know that the thieves-in-law cult is targeted, and shortly after that I found this reversal right here where Huma Abedin, her reversal is, "Lammy, get the loot, bless thieves in it."
I love him. I have forgiven him. I believe in him. And as we have said from the beginning, we are moving forward. Lammy, get the loot, bless thieves in it. Lammy, get the loot, bless thieves in it. Lammy, get the loot, bless thieves in it.
Okay, so that's just a little bit. That's on our Telegram channel. Here's another one that I just found where I talked about there is a Daily Caller reporter that is reporting on the fencing there around the Capitol, and I found a reversal in her reverse speech, which was interesting because it refers to an AI war with a wacky road to Paris that manipulates the degree of something. So that looked like the Paris climate agreement. They want to get back into that, and it's connected to their AI war, which is connected to Agenda 2030, you know, yada yada yada, and the whole trafficking cult. So it's one big giant scam rolled up into all these various scams to get you enslaved and to cede over your sovereignty. So anyway, there's lots of good stuff in there, guys, and that I just don't have time to post anywhere else. Oh, and I ask, sometimes I'll ask if you're interested in the reverse speech in me doing a project like on this guy. Now this guy claims, and guys, these people this scamming cult does have crisis actors, and they really do roll out a bunch of nonsense spectacles across the country and across the planet for their cult, their money from suffering cult. And so, MAGA people that went to the Capitol, that was just a total shit show. I mean, that was pre-planned in my opinion. And I am very concerned about what this guy is saying. Because he all of a sudden comes up and he wants to get Trump out on the 25th. Well, these guys were desperate to get Trump out, And so he talks about...
She was there, and it cost her her life. We have little information at this time, and we're waiting with the rest of the world to uncover the specifics. Our family is grieving on every level for our country and for the families that have lost a loved one or suffered injuries, and for our own loss. We appreciate your prayers and ask for everyone to respect our family's privacy as we mourn her death. On a personal note, Roseanne was very passionate about her beliefs, like I'm sure a lot of people that were present at this event yesterday were. But it is my own personal belief that the president's words and rhetoric cited a riot last night that killed 4 of his biggest fans. And I believe that we should invoke the 25th Amendment. Crowd?
Okay, so now, so he just started hollering that along with a big chorus of other people. And so I don't know if that's true or not because I have not done his reverse speech, but I'm interested in doing his reverse speech. And I asked on our Telegram channel if there were any other people that were interested in me doing his reverse speech. I looked at a little bit of it, and it talked about something being published at the end. I thought on just a cursory, just skimming it because I was curious, and it sounded like he mentioned Thiel, like there's a Peter Thiel, last name, and so that was interesting. So that seems like it needs to be gone through by, if not me, somebody. And just a lot of other stuff. So, and this was, let's see, who posted this one? Jordan Sather. So he says, Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell on Monday blasted Georgia GOP Rep Marjorie Taylor Greene's embrace of loony lies and conspiracy theories. Well, these guys just play back and forth, and I hope she's genuine. I hope there's there definitely is genuine resistance, but there's also a play back and forth using scripts to keep your attention off what's really going on. And Biden, and I found that because Biden was set up for something. Biden was set up to launch another PSYOP. I mean, they're doing PSYOP after PSYOP after PSYOP. And that it said, all of this is to keep you from the real view. And the real view is something that's going on that is connected to Slav or Slavic, possibly Ukraine, So, so there's other stuff going on behind the scenes that is important that everybody needs to know about. Like, for instance, Jack Dorsey's leaked recording that came out said that they're having everybody chase Nazis while they're already depopulating you in this Agenda 2030. So, is that important? Yes. So we need to be looking at what the real view is instead of being caught up in all this distraction. However, I just want to add that they're sitting here talking about, let's see, they brought up the shootings, the mass shootings. Oh, he said, yeah, because he said right here, he says, here are her conspiracy theories, her loony conspiracy theories. Now that guy is running, and he's trying to distract you and keep you away from the truth, is what it's looking like to me. So he says, Marjorie Taylor Greene's embrace of loony lies and conspiracy theories as a cancer for Republican Party. Someone who suggested that perhaps no airplane hit the Pentagon on 9/11, that horrifying school shootings were pre-staged, and that the Clintons crashed JFK Jr.'s airplane is not living in reality. Now, these guys specialize in describing reality as fantasy. because they don't want you to know what reality is. They don't want you cutting into their business because they know that you'll get in their way if you know what they're doing. Okay, so that's just a big giant smoke screen. I covered 4 different school shootings, or 4 different mass shootings, in this reverse speech analysis right here, you know. And I said here, I did an RSA on 4 shootings. They were clearly indicated to have been orchestrated by military intelligence, likely deep state Navy SEALs, most of them. And one I found had been apparently ordered by a council connected to the Vatican, you know. So these people, it is a big, giant scamming cult. There is genuine resistance that I'm finding, and just personally, the targeting has considerably reduced from its onset, but I'm still getting my ass kicked 24/7, especially in retaliation. You know, like they nearly stroked me out last night. They hit your head and heart at the same time, and all of your breathing and yawning reflex. And, you know, if they hit it hard enough and nobody intervenes, then that's going to be the end of me, and that's going to be the end of, you know, I'm like, you guys better spread this information and get people awakened, because, you know, they're picking off targeted individuals anyway. But, you know, I don't want this to be the end of reverse speech, guys. So if y'all want me to stick around, please support this work and share it, get it out so more people can look and see what's going on, and let's get this all shut down, because I'm sure all of us have much better things to do than have to mess with these people all the time. Oh my God. Okay, guys, and that's all I have for you today. Come and join us on Telegram, t.me/our still small voice. Bye-bye.
Sitting throwing rocks across the pavement, hoping they will cave and swallow me whole. Wondering why my mind keeps on spinning. This is how I live, into me what's soul. Why am I like this? Something's always honest. Can't put my finger on it, but it's there. Wait for it to subside, but my mind won't upside. Waiting for it to clear. It depends, sometimes I